Hi, it's Claire from the Healthy Body Happy Mind Project. We're here on Business First TV, and today I have invited along some lovely ladies who are organising an event together in September, which I'm also going to be appearing at. So what we're going to be talking about, the main theme is about how to divorce in a civilised way. And I'm now going to pass over to Susie, who's going to introduce the other two lovely ladies, and she's going to explain a little bit about what the event's about as well. So, Susie.
Hello, I'm Susie Miller. I'm a divorce strategist and I'm the creator of the Best Way to Split Retreat, in brackets, or How to Get a Messy Divorce Back on Track. And the purpose of this event, which is a collaboration between myself, national charity Families Need Fathers, and lovely experts running different workshops, different ways of helping support people go through what is a very traumatic time in their life in a way that's more peaceful. And don't laugh if you're in the middle of a nasty divorce and you don't think that's possible. I'm hoping that in the next few minutes we're going to help convince you that actually it is possible. So perhaps Karen, you'd like to just tell everyone why you're part of the Best Way to Split Retreat and a little bit about how you're going to be helping people in your workshop.
Okay, hi. My name is Karen Marshall. I'm a relationship success and recovery coach, and I'm involved with the Best Way to Split Retreat to really help individuals on their journey with co-parenting, and also how they can develop a more effective relationship moving forward with an ex-partner that will also impact the children's happiness as well. And how I do that, I have a 2-day retreat, that a 2-day program that helps individuals discover the insight, wisdom and education they need about themselves, that how an individual ticks, how they communicate, but how they can do that more effectively. Because, you know, working through divorce, it's about the next steps beyond that and how you can become more effective with your communication.
So how would you give a tangible example of, because some people will be watching this and thinking, I hate them, I don't see, and we're never going to get on, but maybe they've got children, so they might have like 20 years of co-parenting to go forwards. So can you give just a quick example of what you can help a couple to do that's going to make a difference?
One thing that's really important, you know, is how we deal with conflict in a relationship. And when we understand how we can discover how we tick and communicate, how we as individuals communicate, we can start to turn the volume down, start to understand how we communicate as individuals and actually how that impacts our partners.
I guess that preparation would really help people if they decided not to go to war in court, but they thought, right, we're going to use mediation or collaborative law, which is not enough people know about, but you're going to find out about it here in a minute. They need to be in a different mindset for that. So would you say, in a nutshell, you help people to get into that headspace where they are able to embrace that process in a way that perhaps they couldn't have done before?
Giving individuals the empowering support. This is not a therapy that I take clients through. It's about empowering them to come up with their own decisions and their own choices moving forward. But more importantly, what they discover is going to impact in a very positive way.
Brilliant. And so I'm looking forward to actually attending your workshop at the event myself, as I think a lot of the other experts are too. Verity, you do a form of, you are not an everyday lawyer, you've got a very specialised additional training that I'm personally really keen that more people who are going through divorce know about as an option. So mediation is amazing, however, that you're not just, there are more choices there. So if you could say a little bit about how collaborative law can change the way a family goes through divorce, that would be brilliant.
Of course. So my name is Verity Unson-Hickey. I'm a family solicitor and I work for Tishel Solicitors in Haywards Heath. As well as being a qualified family solicitor, I've trained to do collaborative law. So I'm a trained collaborative practitioner, and that is different from somebody who just wants to work in a collaborative or cooperative manner. It's a specialist training. And the difference with collaborative law is that it's about a process of working together, working as a team. Somebody told me a great analogy, which is if you imagine a divorce separation scenario as being the rushing river, when you're in a collaborative process, the two partners and their lawyers, who are both collaboratively trained, are all on a life raft together. And they're all rowing in the same direction, trying to get off that rushing river and to safer, calmer waters. Whereas when you're in more of a traditional court process, you're both in your own little dinghy and you're both rowing in different directions and nobody's getting anywhere fast. So for me, I think that's a really nice sort of visual explanation of the difference. And, you know, it is really important that people come with the right headspace and are in the right emotional state to have those kind of open discussions. And just being in a room with your partner, if you're going through a breakdown, can be really difficult. So that's why as collaborative lawyers, we do work with third parties. We tend to call them family consultants, but people from a therapeutic background usually, who can assist the parties to be in that right headspace and then have that constructive discussion.
Yeah, and I'm really excited as well that Claire's going to be
Yes.
at the event. And some people might go, why would we have a nutritionist at the Best Way to Split retreat? But I'm going to let you explain why, because it's really important.
I think it's really important because obviously at whatever stage you are in your life, it's really important to eat really healthily. But during a stage where, you know, you have a family breakdown, in the process of realising things aren't working out, already at that stage you're finding mum and dad are arguing a lot, so they're not cooking properly, the children aren't eating at the right times of day. And then once they split up and live in separate locations, you often have that one of the two partners, and I'm not saying just women, would be the main person doing the cooking. In a lot of families, it's actually the husband or the male partner who does the cooking. So suddenly that person's no longer there. So you get into a situation where both the parent and the child or children are not eating properly. And that's going to have a massive knock-on effect because they're going to feel really tired, they're going to feel very grumpy, you know, it can lead to depression, it can lead to illness, people, you know, their immunity breaks down because they're not eating properly. So what we're looking at doing at the retreat is showing some really quick to make recipes and just give some ideas for things that are fun to make together. So like learning how to cook together and spending some time together as a family. It's a different family unit, but it's, you know, it's still a family unit, and let's learn to cook some nice easy stuff. You can do batch cooking where you cook loads on one day, and then that way you can just pull things out because you're in a hurry. But also saying, look, if you're going to eat out, rather than going to certain fast food restaurants where maybe the quality of the food is not going to be very good, that there are other options there, that you can take the children out for the day if you're the person who's only seeing them certain days a week. Take them out somewhere nice, like Italian restaurants are great, they always have a really massive menu, you know, but finding something that's nice and fun for them to do, and often isn't a lot more expensive than going to a rather nasty place where, you know, by the time you've said I'm going to have a something meal, then I'm going to have a shake, then I'm going to have some dessert, it's actually cost you more than if you've gone to a nice Italian restaurant. So, you know, it's looking at all those different things that you can do, and it's going to really help.
Brilliant. And also emotionally, food, I found when I went through my split, I didn't, for a start, went into shock, so I didn't eat properly. It was called the divorce diet, I think. And I used to remember forcibly eating. I love my food normally, so it was really weird because I thought, I've got 3 small children, I have to, but trying to even think about, be excited about food, it just like died. So that's part, again, an emotional reason I'm really keen that you're coming, because I think, you know, our mental wellness is so affected by the divorce and family split
massively
process. And that what we eat and what we get addicted to, like sugar, can actually, it's not going to bring out the best in us, is it? Health or psychologically.
It can make people react in very inappropriate ways. So if you have too much sugar in your diet and you've got, you know, too much salt, too much sugar, too much fat in your diet, that can make you very aggressive. It can make people very anxious. And obviously it's not good for the children either on a long-term basis. So, you know, if we're learning to get that love back into our cooking and seeing food as something that we can enjoy together as a family, and, you know, no matter how stressful your day's been, it's a matter of saying, right, I'm gonna put that away in a little box, I'll deal with that tomorrow, but let's just sit down as a family, enjoy our meal, and have some nice conversation. Because what tends to happen is that people are in a rush, and it's like, oh, I'll just shove something in the microwave. And so child number 1's a teenager and they shove something in the microwave and they go. Child number 2 needs some help with their homework. So you spend ages helping their homework, and then they're not eating properly either and they're getting beans on toast. You know, and then child number 3 comes in and sort of like, oh, I'll have a pot noodle. No, please. You know, so it's saying, right, okay, we're all really busy, but let's just spend half an hour It's only half an hour that we're going to spend. We're going to, you know, cook some food together, and we're going to sit and we're going to eat it. And just having some quiet time. You know, if you can't do it every single day, at least, you know, 3-4 times a week, that you are going to spend that time eating in a proper way, not eating on your feet and on the go.
And that could potentially be maybe further down the line with your ex, if
Yes.
when they come, even if it's just come and have a cup of tea and some cake and sit down and have, because I've found that that's the only time I actually spend with my kid's dad now, is if there's he's coming over for something to do with the children. And I remember thinking, well, give him a cup of tea. Well, what about giving him something to eat? I mean,
Yeah.
not whatever's appropriate to your family situation, but so that he didn't just kind of wander in and feel uncomfortable and walk out, because that's
Yeah.
not helping your co-parenting relationship.
Exactly.
Can you imagine, Verity, maybe having a special menu for collaborative law clients? You know, how to get their
Well,
special-
we do usually
Yeah.
offer biscuits. There's usually biscuits. Maybe I should be expanding the repertoire. Maybe this is
Maybe some
something
fruit
we should be
kebabs or
thinking
something.
about. Yeah,
Nuts and seeds.
You
absolutely.
could come up with a sort of divorce cookery book that helps them with being
Great
more
idea.
amicable and do a better job or something.
I mean, you know, it's a difficult process to go through. I got married very young. I was very much in love with this very, very crazy Spanish guy, and, you know, everyone was telling me, you're mad, you shouldn't marry him, you're so different, it's never going to work. And we managed 15 years, which was absolutely incredible that we did. 5 amazing years, 5 good years, and 5, well, let's not go there. But, you know, we made a pact that, you know, even though we weren't together, that we were going to be civilised, and, you know, in front of the kids, we never showed that we were upset or angry. You know, I may have gone off to my bedroom after and gone, "Argh!" But, you know, in front of them, and we very much made an effort. So at least once a week, we would sit down and have a family meal. And, you know, and I'm still included in that. I go back to Spain regularly, see the family there, and, you know, and we still sit down and have amazing family meals together. So, you know, I think you've got to learn to like your ex as a person and still enjoy their company. It takes time to get to that place, but once you've got there, it's really good fun. And, you know, we split up a long time ago, but you know, we can still have a really good laugh. You know, we talk on the phone and Skype, and they go, oh, do you remember so-and-so, this happened, or that happened, or do you remember this? And it's nice to be able to still have that. You know, when people go through a very negative situation and they're there, you know, burning all the pictures, you imagine your children seeing that, how traumatic that is for them. So they have no photos of mummy and daddy together. You think, well, that's wrong, because in 5 years' time you're going to go, oh, actually, maybe I should have kept those. So it's a difficult place to go, but, you know, if we can be as supportive as we can of each other, it's definitely the best way forward.
I mean, some people watching this might think, oh, well, that's all right for you, because I get that a lot, it's all right for you. But actually, you can go from a very bad space into that good space. It does, and you can't just do it with time. Time doesn't heal. You have to do some work, which is why working with someone like Karen, coaching, I find was incredibly useful for me to go from the place I was, which was very, very angry, very hurt, and certainly not feeling at all amicable, to a place where, like you, I get invited to the ex-in-laws for meals, and I don't go that often because we don't actually have that much in common, but it's so nice to have those invites, and and for the children it is essential. They just want the parents to get on well. And I think the challenge that you have is you're getting people when they're still very, very raw, when they haven't had a chance to get that kind of healing, or to even believe that it's possible that later on things will be good. Do you have any particular techniques? I have heard of collaborative lawyers who put a photo of the children on the table.
That's exactly what I was going to say, actually. I've never done it where you actually have the photo, but the children are so often at the core and at the heart of what we do. And a lot of the time, that's what we're always kind of coming back to. What we do at the beginning of a collaborative process is quite often we'll get both parties to write what we call an anchor statement. And it's what they're hoping to achieve, what they want out of this process. Why, not in terms of I want the house, you know, more the long-term things. I want the children to see that we can work together. I want to be able to ring you and just have a chat about stuff and work out, you know, our future together, all of those kind of things. And they will often, that statement will anchor the process, that, you know, hence the name, so that if we get to a point where there's a difficult issue, there's an emotional issue, there's a real knotty problem that they're finding it hard, and one of them is feeling like they want to say, no, this is not for me, I'm off, you know, we come back to that. We come back to, what were the kids wanting you to do?
Yeah.
What's the best outcome for your children? You know, what's the best outcome for your family? What does this look like for your family in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, if you do this choice or you do this choice? And that's how we get people through those difficult issues, because they're not necessarily going to be best friends. They're not necessarily going to have warm thoughts about each other for the rest of their lives. But as long as they can work together cooperatively and they can communicate effectively, that's what they need to do for their children, and that's the really important thing.
I guess that sums up the event in many ways, the best way to split retreat. Picking up from that point of it's so important to get everyone in the right headspace so it's possible for them to have a healthy way of divorcing. With the workshop that you're doing a short taster workshop, can you just give us a feel of just some of the benefits that people will get from that workshop, and how they'll be able to take from that the beginnings of that belief that they can learn these new skills? Because a lot of us, we just don't know, do we? We've never been taught this stuff before.
No, I mean, you know, self-development is sort of a lifetime journey, and what I share with through the workshop and the talk are engaging coaching exercises. So I'm taking individuals through the 4 steps that they need to be aware of through their transformation journey, through their relationship, but also I share engaging exercises for them to engage their thinking in a very different way. So it's important that individuals actually experience for themselves what difference it can make to them. And I think it's those really poignant exercises that I've shared in many tasters that people always come away saying, I'm seeing it from a different perspective and how I'm thinking differently. So that's the most powerful aspect from the journey.
And I think it's when people start to think differently, that's when you can expect them to act differently. There's no point us moralising and saying, well, you should be more peaceful for the children, if we can't physically, actively help them change their mindset, change their decision-making process.
So if people want to hear more about the event and if they'd like to attend, I believe there's still some places available. How can they get hold of you?
They can access information via the website called www.bestwaytodivorce.co.uk. And you can download a free brochure, and because I think it's really important to mention, thanks to Tishel's solicitors, Verity's law firm, they're very generously sponsoring a free space at the event. So anyone who even downloads a free brochure will be in the draw to have a free space at the retreat.
And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you very soon.